I cried every time. Don't know how much more I can take. Y'all hear that? I decided I cried my last tear. Hopefully they don't block me for that. That's why I'm playing the instrumental version for those of y'all know, because this is so appropriate. If you don't know this song, it is talking about, just leaving all of the worries and stuff to this world, for yesterday, and seeing different coming into the tomorrow. Now, isn't that just an amazing message, guys? How are you doing this Wind Down Wednesday? Welcome, welcome. Thanks for coming in. This is Get to Know Bob, and I'm your host, Sonia Weaver. This show is like one of my favorites. And it is one of my favorites because I truly believe that we are embracing something that has been long overdue, and that is to make sure that our mental health is in tip top shape the same way we do our physical health. And actually, to get to the point where we don't differentiate the two, we just say it is our health. And so, the more shows that I do like this, the I get more excited because I know we're breaking stereotypes and we're on our way to healing. So, before we dive into tonight's show, I have to do some housekeeping. Um, and let me go back. Those of you who are joining us for the first time, we want to say welcome. We have switched over to this platform in YouTube, and we have gotten some great results. Those of you who still trying to find us from Instagram and Facebook, come on. And I know you're kind of computer savvy. We're just waiting for you to come and come on over to these live chats. We want to hear from you. But I want to say that I have loved having this opportunity as I reflect in the month of December, and we're getting to, an end of one more year. Can you believe it? We will be into 2022 in a couple of weeks, right? And if you're like me, you just start thinking about what happened over this year. Did you accomplish those goals and all this stuff? So it's another good reason to have this conversation, because some people hold, you know, their goals in such high regards that if they miss them, it can cause a mental episode sometimes. So we're just going to be covering everything as we end the year and begin anew, to reflect in what we should be doing and working towards in 2022. As a result, we're having an amazing guest on this evening, but that is our purpose here at Get to Know Bob, to bring on amazing guests so you can get to know them. Most importantly, connect to them and their why. Why do they do what they do? Not just what they do, right? And that is what's going to separate us and make sure that we can continue to support one another. Now, tonight's look. So tonight's look is a combination of various things. So I have on a lip liner from the Glam Doctor. The lip color is from Tauntus, and this is Troy. So that is that rich purple that I love. And then I decided to do see the pout. So in the pout, I have the Glam Doctor Bay and just a little bit of shimmer. Because I'm not wearing any masks, because y'all know I love my mats now. But I decided to do some Tauntus in the pout of the shimmer. See, it's popping. And this is Venus. So when you mature, y'all want to learn how to get that mature lip, then I got on 3 lip products and a liner. And in order to do that, maybe I'll give some pointers one day. I'm not really the makeup tutorial person. That's not my forte, but I do know a few things. So maybe I'll give y'all some pointers. I'm excited though, because I found a Black owned eyebrow pencil. So yeah, we'll be talking about that shortly as I bring that owner on later. I shouldn't say shortly, like it's gonna be today, but in the near future, you'll find out more about the eyebrow pencil that I'm trying out. And I seem to like it so far. Seems to do well. Now, after that, where are we going? Oh, to our support 7 Bob pledge. Okay. So in case you are, on another planet somewhere, don't have social media, let me just bring you up to speed. The support 7 by pledge means that you're going to support 7 Black-owned businesses. Now, remember, we changed it from a challenge to a pledge because a pledge is personal. I'm not going to force you to do anything. I really want this to be a personal decision that matters to you in order to make a difference. Okay. I don't want it to be just another challenge. Oh, I did that one. Oh, I did that one. No, this is going to be a lifestyle change. So we want to start off with 7 and you pledge there. And if you want to do more and build yourself up, of course, that's awesome. That's the whole goal. But at least stretch yourself to 7, right? And it's very doable because what is support? Support is 2 things. You can support with your time. That is sharing when people are looking for that product or service. That is liking and tagging, not just going through liking everything, but being really genuine about it, being verbal about it when you talk to people about sharing what people are doing. You can volunteer. A lot of nonprofits coming out. A lot of people after 2020, really start seeing more involvement and people want to make a difference and an impact. They need your help, right? So your time is valuable. That's a way to support. The other, of course, is our financial resources because we need money. Let's just be honest. So if you are able to do so, then yes, buy someone's product if you need it. Buy someone's product for a gift, right? And speaking of which, I'm going to review the 12 days of Christmas. There's no reason during this holiday season that you couldn't support 7 Black-owned businesses. I'm just saying. Don't even try to tell me you couldn't, especially when I know you was out there shopping. Okay, so we're going to run down our 12 days of Christmas. Now, day number 12. On the 12th day, we said Century Body Essentials. Now, see, that's the perfect gift right there. Bath body sets. I know y'all was up at Bath and Beyond, or Bed Bath and Beyond, or Body Works and all of them other ones. You need to be up there with Century Body Essentials, right? They have phenomenal products that I use and I highly support them. The Health Box Drink to Shrink. If you want to just stay fit and lightly detox, keep your body and your system running optimally, go ahead and support them. Mona Lisa's Lyrics was number 10. Number 9 was My Sisters and Me. You can't really see it because I got on my, hair wrap today, but you can kind of see them edges is laid. My Sisters and Me. Tease Timeless Beauty. I only have on some, I got a little bit of rouge. Kind of keep looking up at the screen. I got a little bit of rouge. But most I got on powder. Why? Because I use that Lumi Spa. I get that skin cleansed and the pores and all of that. And my complexion just is thanking me for it. So, you don't even need all of this makeup when you use Tease Timeless Beauty's Lumi Spa. That's why they were on the list. That was number 8. Number 7, DTJ Consulting for all your business needs, but especially that digital business card. Now, let me tell you, that alone got interest from someone contacting me wanting them to be on their vendor event. I'm telling you, a digital business card is an amazing thing to have if you are a business owner, entrepreneur, whatever. You could be an entertainer and just whatever you need a business card. Make sure you also have a digital one. Never run out of cards at a vending event, ever. Networking event, ever. And plus, I almost said plus, once you drop your info into their contacts, they're not going to lose their cell phone as quickly as they might lose the business card. I'm just saying. Next, we had Divine Diva Designs custom gifts. If you did not think of any custom gifts to give this holiday season, shame on you. This is where your creativity could have flourished and gave a personalized gift. I have given one this weekend, wasn't even for the holidays, but it was for a baby shower. I was so excited to get my custom gift and give it to the baby. It was all monogrammed with the baby's name, and it was just beautiful, right? Number 5 is Linked LLC. Okay. Now there you got gift certificates. So give the gift of Linked. What are you actually giving? You're giving time to your family and your friends to get together, to connect, to have some fun, and to walk away with a beautiful keepsake that you guys made while you were together. That's a great stocking stuffer. So you can get some gift certificates still. And here's the thing, since it is the week of Christmas, Link said they will actually email you the gift certificate so that you can print it yourself if you want to put it in a card for a stocking stuffer. Okay. Glam Doctor, as you can see, makeup is always a good gift. Perfect stocking stuffer. Good Measure, y'all missed the countdown for that one. Good Measure cut off doing those custom Diva wreaths this past week. And I'm telling you, I want to thank you guys for the support you have shown to Good Measure nonprofit. They had made some phenomenal wreaths. I had the pleasure of seeing several of them. And I want to thank you. You will definitely love, love, love receiving what I would ask you guys. Post pics on social media and hashtag good measure and hashtag deals with Bob. We would love to get that all in a centralized location because they are some amazing gifts. Paparazzi jewelry from My Traveling Pearls. I'm telling you, whatever your budget might be saying right now, you know how it gets towards that last few days of Christmas and you're screaming like, I spent more than I wanted to on some other gifts. Hey, My Traveling Pearls has you covered, especially if it's going to be for a female. You can get any piece of jewelry for $5, and I'm sure that will accommodate a lot of people's budgets, especially when we're on countdown for 3 days, right? And then number one was True to You candles in the blend bar. Their special Christmas holiday candles have sold out. You can still purchase just a regular blended candle or give a gift certificate where you and your friends and family can come to the blend bar and actually make your own candles. Wouldn't you want to give that gift that just keeps on giving, right? So as we stroll into our featured listings and deals for consumer members, we have kicking it off again is Affordable Veterinary Clinic. For all your pets' needs, you want to take them to Affordable Veterinary Clinic. We have then Today's Smile, which will keep you smiling as you have your smile be your logo, as Jay Dancy would say. And they are going to be offering a whitening discount to our consumer members come 2022. We have Mona Lisa's Lyrics, who's offering 15% off for the membership fee to our consumer members. We have Woo, Women Helping Empower Winners. And if you need help becoming a winner, then our consumer members will receive free registration and or free consultation. Next, we have Phlebotomy Express Training Center. Why not get, some more knowledge? Why not go into a new field or career and jumpstart your future? Because consumer members, you're going to get an extra 10% off. We have My Sisters and Me Hair Braiding. They're offering our consumer members 10 to 15% off. As I said in the intro, my edges are laid because I am using My Sisters and Me. If you want to have a new hairstyle, protective styling, then you can make sure you can go to their braiding studio as well and receive those extra deals and discounts from My Sisters and Me. Those that mentioned, I said Link LLC was on our list. They're offering consumer members 50% off plus one. So you and a friend can have some fun. And consumer member, you will save, or you can be free plus three. So bring along 3 friends, and consumer member, you will go for free. We have newly listed business, the Tax Divas. Yes, it is approaching that time of year. Y'all know April 15th comes soon as we say Happy New Year, right? So don't wait till the last minute. Get everything in order. And if you were tuned in to last week's show, you would know one of the advice that our guest gave, Miss Jamaica Bishop, was not to wait to the last minute, especially as we're going into 2022, because some of those things that have been forgiven during COVID season are going to go into effect. So make sure everything related to your finances is in order. And if you are a consumer member, you will receive an additional 10% off or free registration or consultation or a gift. We have newly listed Divine Diva Designs offering 15% off. Yes, they were 2 on our list, as you can see, because they do phenomenal work. They will print on anything, but they won't print paper. They won't print money. That's the only thing they won't print. They will print in anything, on pretty much anything, cups, mugs, shirts, hats. So yes, and get those custom gifts going. Consumer members, you will receive an additional free 15% off. True to You LLC was on our list again. They were number one. But if you're a consumer member, you can get a free gift. So why not get those last minute Christmas gifts and get you something free in the process, right? T's Timeless Beauty was on our list. I talked about how beautiful my skin is with that Lumi Spa. And if you're a consumer member, you can get 10% off of yours. So to become a consumer member, what do you need to do? It's scrolling across the bottom. All you need to do is go to www.dealswithbob.com, click on consumer membership, and join today. It's only $25 a year. That's less than 7 cents a day. Why are you delaying? That would also be the perfect gift for someone else. Now, business owners, if you sign up to certain packages, you will be a consumer member automatically. So if you have a business and you want to be listed on I was going to say but it's our international Black-owned business directory, then you too go to www.dealswithbob.com, click on business, sign up, and join today. We would love to have you in our community. So I have to give you guys to stay connected. I'm only going to actually do a couple things on here as I do that. We're going to be talking about Christmas, last minute things. Why not give a gift to a nonprofit? So you can donate to a nonprofit in someone's honor and give that as a gift. The three that I'm recommending this week is one, Genesis. And I'm going to pull up actually what Genesis has going on. Okay, so there we go. Thought I had it to make it convenient. So Genesis is actually doing a baby drive from December 20th through January 15th. They're collecting baby items for pregnant and new moms. The items that are needed are diapers, wipes, bottles, formula, clothing. If you can't drop it off, they do have a cash app for you to make any cash donations. You can do e-gift cards to servicedonation@gmail.com. I'm going to, the drop-offs are Monday through Fridays from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., but I'm going to post on my page and also share, because that is part of supporting, share this with others so that we can ensure that our moms-to-be and new moms have everything that they need to take care of their child and be successful. The next nonprofit that I have is Unity Detroit, UNITY, Uniting Neighbors and Inspiring Today's Youth. They are asking for some support to their organization with the donation to their annual Adopt a Family program. They've been doing this for the past 15 years, and they help shine a brighter light on life for families in the Metro Detroit area. This year, they're going to attempt, they're trying to beat, what they've done the previous year. So their attempt is to help 25 families for the Christmas season, and they need your support. You can find out more information by visiting www.unitydetroit.org, but they will also be added to our website at www.dealswithbob.com under Stay Connected. And then third, as you know, what's on our list was Good Measure. Even though you can't get one of those Christmas Diva wreaths, you can still get a Diva wreath. And all proceeds from the Diva wreath sales will go to Good Measure Good Measure nonprofit. Almost got them LLC. Good Measure nonprofit, and the work that they are doing. They recently partnered up with, I believe, Comcast, and that is amazing win as they continue to do some amazing work for the community. One last thing I want to note. Next week's show on December 29th will most likely be moved to December 30th. Because December 29th, I will be joining another event for Kwanzaa, and it is on the day of Ujamaa, which is collective wealth. And I will, of course, be encouraging people to support Black-owned businesses, but I also will be sharing some tips for our business owners that are going to be present as well as those viewing. So look out for information on that so that you can stay connected to that as we move forward. Okay. As we get ready for tonight's show, I'm going to be adding to the room. One second. Hello.
Hello.
How are you? How are you?
I'm great. I'm sitting here listening to all these deals. I need to become a member. I don't think I'm a member. So I'm missing out, apparently.
Well, yeah, you have to become a member to get all these amazing deals, and I'm going to get better in 2022 because the thing is I'm overly excited and love supporting others. And one person was like, "Well, is this all you do?" And I said, "Oh no, we do this, this, and this." And they said, "Well, why don't you ever say what you do?" So I got to get better at that because people, yes, we've had consumer membership since day one. And so yeah, if you have which is great, if you supported any of the businesses on our directory or any that I've recommended, I'm glad you have done so. I appreciate it. But as a consumer member, yeah, you get those extra deals, discounts, giveaways,
Yeah.
and rewards. So we will have to make sure you get, added to our community.
Yes, absolutely. And of course, I participated in linked. I've gotten linked. So,
Yes. And that was so much fun. It
yeah,
was
so
so
much
much
fun.
fun. Well, first, before I say your name and stuff, let me give you the microphone. Let me pass the baton and give you an opportunity to self-introduce because that's how I like to do it on this program because it's about people connecting to you.
Okay. All right.
There you go.
Okay, I got the mic now, I guess. I am Dr. Michele Leno. I'm a licensed psychologist. So, what do I do as a psychologist? I'm the owner of DML Psychological Services. I provide services, therapy, well, including psychotherapy, evaluation. I do a lot of consulting. I am also the host and executive producer of a TV show, Mind Matters with Dr. Michele. So I hope everyone's watching by now, and we'll get more into that a little bit later. So, I do a lot. I will say I get a lot done in one day, and I have a lot of variety in my life.
And that's awesome. And before I forget, hi Nikki. We have someone say great day, everyone. Thanks for joining. Make sure you share. Um, so yes, if you have not, well, here's the thing. I know like my show just going from Instagram to YouTube, it takes people a little bit sometimes that delay to kind of catch up where you're at, the times and that kind of stuff. So just so people, if they don't know how to support you on your show, when does it air and what time and what station?
Yes, so it airs locally here in Detroit, Michigan, Saturdays at 11:30 a.m. on TV 20 Detroit, and we also have several other networks. So if you are out of state, you can watch on BNT Black News Channel. There's also, and forgive me, I don't know the exact days right off that it airs. It airs during the week on Black News Channel. So go to your guide, and you'll be able to find Mind Matters with Dr. Michele. There's also Lily Broadcasting, CW, and that is in the Caribbean. You can catch it there. Also, we have a streaming platform now, Flix.net, so you can catch past episodes. Right? You can just use your phone to go over to Flix, and that's FLIXX.net, and you'll be able
Okay.
to find it there.
Oh, awesome. Look at
Yes.
that. Now she tried to like slide it in there. Well, see, I gotta use that word then international.
Yeah.
So you have an international show. Do you actually now say that?
Yes, I do. You know what? Sometimes, I have like I need to promote it more that it is. But let me tell you, I tell you, people from out of state out of Michigan, since we're here in Michigan, are so supportive. So I love getting like messages from people out of state. So people are actually watching. People are watching
Awesome.
Black News Channel and some of these other networks that the show airs on. So yes, I'm excited about that. And Sonia, I have to tell you, I don't know if I told you, someone messaged me specifically about your episode and wanting to find out how to get in touch with you. So I told them
Wow.
you were on social media, and yes, so
Okay,
and that was
awesome.
an out of state viewer.
Oh, awesome. I
Yes,
love it. Wow, we're getting
yeah,
our reach.
right. You're right. That reach.
And those of you who don't know, I was on Dr. Michelle's show, speaking about my son as it pertains to him being on the autism spectrum and having Asperger's syndrome. Just getting more awareness about that. And, all of this is a perfect segue into the reason why I requested that Dr. Michelle come on this month because of mental health, and we have some mental health that, like I just stated, autism, Asperger's, you know, um, ADHD, all of these other things where we have actually put names on some of our conditions. I would use that word because I hate to say like it's more, because really and truly, it's kind of how your brain functions, how you process information, how those synapses move, and all this kind of stuff. And we're all unique. We're all unique, and we all have some type of mental challenge. If it's not every day, like some people, it happens still. And what's interesting is that you don't always recognize it. So tell me a little bit more. Tell us a little bit more, Dr. Michelle, when I say we don't always recognize. What does that mean? Because I
So
want
what
that.
happens is we spend a lot of time paying more attention to others than we do ourselves because life is just easier that way, right? And so when it comes to dealing with our own issues, we kind of make excuses. We say, oh no, well, I got to get this done, so I don't have time to rest. And that doesn't work for long, just to let you know. Or sometimes there's things that come on, like a lack of motivation. You don't feel like getting out of bed in the morning, and you just say, oh, I just didn't get enough rest last night. But when this becomes a habit, but you don't want to admit it to yourself. It's like you've had several days of this, and it's so easy to ignore. But that may be a sign of a very, a more serious problem coming on. Nonetheless, it can be addressed. So it's easier to avoid our own problems because we don't like to say, well, yeah, I'm anxious or
Right,
I'm
right,
depressed, because then that means, well, something must be wrong with me. Or even worse, you think it means you're weak. And let me tell you, it does not mean that a
mm,
weak person cannot take on so much that they become overwhelmed like that. So it's definitely
right,
not a weakness.
right, right. And since you kind of mentioned depression, and you mentioned anxiety, being anxious, um, I want to challenge everybody, because so here's a point of transparency, and it may not be the first time that I mentioned recently where I've had to step away and take some time because I needed to focus on my health, specifically the stress level, and also the fact that I was depressed. And I did not in any way like said, no, I'm not. And it wasn't because I felt it was a stigma, it was because what I viewed what depression looked like. So I'm going to share a little bit more about me, but right here where I have a pen in it, Dr. Michelle, what is the typical depression that people will probably identify with? And then what could it potentially be that people may misrecognize it?
Okay, so with depression, we have different forms. Okay, so I think just about everyone we know has experienced some form of depression, right? So when you think of sadness, You think of crying, you think of lack of motivation, maybe decreased concentration, decreased memory, things like that. Those are some of the things that some of the highlights of depression. Some of the things that we're less likely to look at. Some of us may see, well, crying excessively, just being tearful as a sign of depression. That's more of what we think of. We think of depression as somebody, either somebody or ourselves, being really down and out. But some of those less common symptoms that we may not consider may be the lack of motivation. It may be the not being able to remember what you did 5 seconds ago. You're noticing that you can't concentrate at work or at home or anywhere, and then you may not cry, you may not have typical sadness, but you may actually feel angry. And so sometimes we don't see that. Sometimes if somebody, if you are telling a story about somebody, somebody at work, and somebody says, well, maybe that person is depressed. Like this person is just like, acting out, getting on everybody's nerves. And somebody says, well, maybe that person is depressed. The first thing people say is, no, it's not that, because, she or he they don't seem sad at all. Well, people
Right.
don't have to appear sad and tearful. That's just when we want to embrace them. But sometimes you may not be able to stand being around that depressed person, but nonetheless, you try to be patient with them.
Well, for me, it was kind of the same response. Like I said, my physician said, and I think you're depressed, and I'm like, no, I'm not depressed. One, I'm like doing too much. I'm doing this and this, and I'm getting up and getting dressed and doing work and all this, so I'm not what you just described. I'm not crying. But what was interesting enough is my temperament was touchier. you know I start beginning to feel indifferent. Like, I could care less. Whatever come up, I'm not dealing with it. It's like I just didn't want to do anything. People was getting on my nerves. I ain't dealing with them no more. They starting to get on my nerves. And so it was like out of character, if that makes sense. And then it went to a couple of times when I say I wasn't crying all the time, but I would feel like very emotional. I missed the doctor's appointment, and I just was like, oh my God, I missed the appointment. Oh my goodness. And all of this emotion came out of nowhere. And so that's when she told me to stop and kind of think about it. And I was like, yeah, that is really like out of character for me. But I wouldn't have labeled it necessarily as, being depressed.
Mhm.
Um, but it was an awakening. And what I would like for people to understand, like I said earlier, we say mental health, we say physical health, and really we're one being. So it's really just health. We wouldn't say necessarily, we focus in on our heart. If you have heart disease, or if you have, a broken ankle, or, we focus in on what the situation of the area is. And so this is just your brain. Your brain is no different than any other thing encapsulated in this body. We have a heart. Sometimes it pumps too fast, too slow. We get extra, it changes with what we do. We have, our lungs, we have this, and we have a brain. So if there's an issue in our brain, we should get help. Just like if it was an issue in our heart or in our foot or in our lungs, right?
Absolutely. And I'm glad you pointed that out. You can't, I say improve your mental health, improve your life. You're not going to feel okay no matter how healthy you are. If you're sad, if you're depressed, if you're overwhelmed, that right there can cause you to have aches and pains. So no matter how often we try to separate the two, think about when you have a racing mind because you've done too much throughout the day. It disrupts your sleep, right? And so
Mm-hmm.
sometimes we think of sleep as a physical activity, but it's just as much a mental activity. So as much as we
Right.
would like to separate mind and body. We really can't do that. So, we really need to get on board with a holistic approach, because we can't, I mean, one affects the other no matter. I don't know how we even got to the separation to begin with, but there is no separation. And so, just like you kind of know, I'll use as an example, sometimes we know physically, women, you kind of know what, you may know what brings on a headache or something, right? You kind of know some of
Mhm.
those things. You know that if you, twist a certain way, that your back may start to hurt, right? And so because
Right.
you've developed these things over time. And so what happens is, what about, how do you identify triggers to depression kicking in? How do you identify
Mm.
triggers to sadness kicking in? Well, you get to know yourself. You figure out
Okay.
your triggers, because what can happen oftentimes, for everyone, we tend to be overachievers, and so we do and
Mm.
do and do, and
Mhm.
then we are so busy that we don't even realize that at that point we're like being our own worst enemy, because what's happening is
Yeah.
we're becoming overwhelmed, and we're saying, let's push through. Well, there's not a big reward at the end if you're feeling like completely exhausted and unlike yourself.
Yeah.
You're always better off stepping back. If you know, what I always tell people, if you know you're that person who tends to always be at 10 when you're getting things done, then consciously make an effort to dial it down to 7. And like, don't always try to work at your max. And it doesn't matter what it is that you're trying to get done. Try to stay under that 10 if you know you're that person that stays at 10. Because if you're always at 10, you can only sustain that for very
Mhm.
minimal time. You may think you're getting something done and being
Yeah.
productive, but trust me, the outcome of that may not be the best. Let me just say.
Well, and it's interesting you say that, because I would have to say, I'm like the person who did not know how to like relax. I'm like,
Just
oh,
chill.
I gotta be doing something. The only time I can relax is if I go out to relax. Which is crazy because you're not really relaxing, you're out. But I say all that to say that doing too much and having the, like you said, racing mind, people don't think about that. I was one classically not sleeping, and just assuming, well, you got a lot to do. I get up early, I just don't sleep well, I'm restless. But I literally was like stressed, so stressed that my brain just would not calm, would not shut off. It was constantly trying to solve the problem. So whatever I was stressed about was bothering me, my brain was on. How do you fix it? How do you fix it? So my eyes are pretty much closed and I'm laying down, but I'm thinking, okay. Because sometimes I would jump up, oh yeah, and I would write that down. That's how you could fix, try that. And it was crazy because when you don't have rest, tell people again, if you are like mentally drained and you have not slept, what does that manifest, quote unquote, in your physicalness?
Oh my God, so much can happen. And I want to point out too, for anybody that's been diagnosed with a mental health condition, lack of sleep will usually bring on the symptoms for you. So, I'll use bipolar disorder even as an example. Lack of sleep, a lot of times before like a manic episode, you'll hear someone talking about lack of sleep and not being able to sleep. And just in the general population, lack of sleep can cause so much dysfunction. It can throw off like your cognitive functions, lack of concentration, poor memory. It could cause you to feel physically exhausted, or you think you're fine throughout the day, but then what happens is you start to feel jumpy. Maybe you're using caffeine to sort of replace that energy to compensate for what you don't have because you're not getting sleep. And so then what ends up happening is you're feeling jittery, you're feeling fatigued, and you're like, why do I feel fatigued? Because you just can't. And what happens when you're fatigued, it affects you mentally and physically.
Mm,
So there's
mm,
so
okay.
much that can happen when you don't get sleep. Now I'll say not everybody, some people will say that they've never had 8 hours of sleep. So sleep requirements are different. So again, I
Yeah.
always go back to know your norm. And that's
Right.
the only way we get to know our norms is through taking care of ourselves, right? So know
Right.
your norm, but
And
there's nobody walking around here without any sleep and feeling
right.
okay.
And let me point out that the better terminology for what wasn't happening with me was rest. Because, I would doze off or maybe even sleep, but I never woke up with the feeling of having rested.
Hmm.
So that was a huge issue. And so literally it took me a couple of weeks to actually get calm enough and not have these thoughts constantly in my head and going. It took a while, but now when I sleep, it's like, wow, I like really needed that. And not only it was like I was sleeping, I guess, tensely too. So it's like my body is starting to not be as achy, as bad, just all the time, like that chronicness, because I'm being able to rest.
Hmm.
So I want to make sure that people understand when you're dealing with things that you definitely need to rest your mind. Dr. Michelle say, know your body, start paying attention. That's what we don't do. Like she said, it's not even like, our lives aren't that great. We not even just living vicariously to others or just being nosy and want to be busybodies with other people. But you have to turn your eye onto yourself and get to truly know yourself. One, just because it's fabulous to know who you are, because you need to address some issues.
Exactly. Exactly. And I tell people that when I see people in therapy, I always say, are you coming here because you want to change, or you want me to help you learn how to cope with a situation that you're really unhappy in? Because it does make a difference. I
Mhm.
mean, sometimes people and we've all done it. You tend to walk in and you're talking about everybody else, and you're not the problem because it's everybody around you. If only they would do this, if only that would happen. But the only way you'll ever experience any real progress is if you make some changes. That's the
Right,
only way. You
right.
have to be the one
Have
willing
to
to do
turn that
some.
mirror. Like Michael
Exactly.
said, I'm looking at the woman, man in the mirror.
Yes.
I'm asking them to change as well.
Exactly. And
Because
and
really
the other
you have
person
no
may be wrong
control.
too, but you
But
you
you
have a
can't
you have
control no
a
one.
part in it.
Right. And I always say only you can't control them. You can only control you. And what they do, yeah, it impacts you some kind of way possibly, but still you only have control over you. So
Absolutely.
now we want to, I don't want it to get too far. And then we'll be like, oh, we got to wind down. So I want to make sure that we take a pen right here for you to let people know how they can connect to you. And then we want to talk, at least give some tips or something about, as we're in two things going on. The holidays, of course. The holidays is not always joyful for everyone. So, some tips for people who might be struggling during the season that it is. Then, for those who are reflecting, we're at the end of a year. And many people, like I said, may be hard on themselves and like, I didn't get nothing accomplished. I'm still in the same place I said I wasn't going to be. That can drive some type of mentalness, concern as well that you place on others. And then how you feel the best way to kick off a new year would be. Okay.
Okay.
I know that was a
All right.
lot, but
You'll
we
you'll
got
have
it.
to remind me of some of that.
Okay. So, first, how can we connect to you?
So you can find me. I am on social media. My business page at Mind Matters with Dr. Michelle. You can find me on Instagram, Facebook. Also, you can find me under my name, Michele Leno. First name Michele. I am Michelle with one L, so that's the only way you'll find me. So Michele Leno. You can find me also Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter. So I'm pretty easy to find. Also, my website is D as in doctor, mlpsych.com.
Okay, awesome. And so, as Dr. Michelle said, she has to get herself all on Deals with Bob. So, that's always going to be a one stop shop. And most
Yes.
likely, she's going to definitely be under our health and wellness section, right? That is going to be one of our focus. So, the first thing I said was to share about the fact that this is holiday season and it's not always joyful for everybody. So, what would be some, coping mechanisms to get people through this time of year?
So I recommend spending time with others. I know sometimes when we're not feeling our best, there's a tendency to avoid and isolate, but you actually you will find that spending time with others that don't stress you out, you, you'll find that that can be very uplifting. Also, at the opposite end of that is taking the time when you need it. Take time to take take me time and take as much me time as you need. That is very, very important. I always recommend doing something fun, maybe doing something, maybe there are things you just don't believe you have time to do in your day-to-day life. We're all in this hustle and bustle type lifestyles. So do something that you don't believe that you usually are telling yourself, I just don't have time to do that. Go out and get a massage. Pick up the phone and call someone that's maybe a close friend, relative that you haven't heard from in a while. And then think about, if you're someone that has kind of been distant from people and you just don't know why, take this time to figure out why. You may do that through therapy or coaching sessions, but just take this time to just figure you out.
And that's awesome. So let's go back to that self reflection. See how it's important to really know oneself. And and if you're looking, here's a plug. I get my massages, and that's where I would be like, oh, I do self care. I do a massage a month, but it's so much more than that. But I'm gonna tell you, a good massage goes a long way,
It
and
does.
I will recommend a couple. So Spa Go Therapy. And I believe that she's now located like in Birmingham area, but check her out. Phenomenal. And Hannah Stone is Black owned franchise. One is located in Ferndale, the other is in Ann Arbor. And then there's a new one on Cuts Lounge that is actually a mobile massage location. So she also, if you want to have like a private event at your location off site somewhere, she does those as well. Or you can come to the standalone location that's located at Cuts Lounge. So those are some of my faves that I would highly recommend. But yes, take some time out for self therapy and don't allow yourself to be lonely during this time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So then the second one was, if people are kind of like me, and I'm working on me, I'm a work in progress, y'all. So don't try to, I'm telling you, people who look at people and they try to hold or emulate themselves to them, you don't want to do that with me, because this girl, I got too many issues. I'm telling you, and I do not listen to the great advice I give. So just do as I say, not as I do. But what I will say is, at the end of the year, I sometimes be like, dang it, you didn't get jack diddly squat accomplished that you said you was gonna do this year, and now the year is over. You were supposed to be, better health, exercising, 10 pounds lighter, had the business, then it is, da 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 da. And then all of those thoughts of what you didn't do and this negativity and all of that, how does that impact us? That's what's the second question.
Yeah, so all of those things. Sometimes we're caught up in like what we think we need to do
Mm,
versus like what are some things that you want to do. I mean, look, you got through 2020 and 2021 almost, and it's time for you to reflect on what are some things that you want to do. We tend to feel like well, we need to be responsible and we need to do things that we can justify going after. But and sometimes we forget about, what do we really desire? Where's your
mhm,
heart? What is it that you really want? And so seek more of that. I mean, yeah, there are some things, there are some things we absolutely need to do in our self-care journeys, but
Mm-hmm.
don't forget about the fun stuff. Don't forget about the
Right.
things, or the things that, really make you smile, or, make you want to
Mm-hmm.
jump up and down when you think about accomplishing those things. So get those things on your list.
Love it. I love it. Okay, and then so this kind of that leads into the third part we said about preparing yourself mentally and physically, your total wellness, as you begin with tips you would like to share for getting prepared for that new year so that it can be, I guess for the lack of a better word, maybe more successful than previous years, because maybe we need to shift how we see things. So you just kind of led into some advice right at the end, but just elaborate a little bit more.
Yeah, so one of the things I recommend is like writing things down. One way we can get
Mhm.
in touch with ourselves is to write things down. And I don't mean like typing or using your phone. I mean like old school pen and paper writing. Yes, that's what I mean. Because it just has so much more meaning when
Mhm.
we actually pick up a pen or a pencil and paper and write. And we
Mhm.
actually, believe it or not, you connect with those things a
Yeah,
little bit
you
more
do.
too,
You do.
actually a lot more, and they're usually more meaningful. A lot of times we're not going to take the time to, write if it's not
Yeah.
meaningful to us. So take the time to reflect. So get you, it doesn't have to be, when I say journaling, sometimes people think I'm talking about this whole formal process, but it
Yeah.
could just be like scribble scrabble that you write in a little book about something that you did during the day, or something that you want to accomplish. Sort of
Mhm.
like people do, what is it, vision boards and things like that.
Right,
You
right.
can journal that same way, where you say, and I always say speak of it. I'm really into law of attraction. So you speak of those things as if they have already happened.
Right,
Or you
right.
may want to write some things down about your day, because then you kind of get to know you. Like
Mhm.
you're probably not going to really lie to yourself if you're writing. Either you're going to write the truth, or you're not going to write at all, maybe. And you can like write in a way that no one else can read it, because this is just for you. But you want to go into this new year being true to yourself and knowing who
Mhm.
you are. And if you are into the whole New Year's resolution thing, you want it to be something that really reflects you, and not
Mhm.
something, again, that goes back to this, well, I need to do this. People make weight loss a goal. I think that's like the number one
Yeah.
still goal. But is that something that you want to do? I mean, just kind of do it passively. Don't put
Right.
too much energy in trying to do something, and then it doesn't happen the way you want it to happen. And what happens, you're feeling like a failure. So some things we can have in the back of our minds that we want to do and that we're going to do, but they don't have to be like the number one. you know
Right. Right.
because if you're feeling good and you're happy, you're probably going to achieve those other things anyway.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Now, there's a couple things that you said that I'll put a plug in it. Like, I do not do resolutions. You guys know I say it is never resolutions. It always is lifestyle changes and tangible goals. That's what you should reflect on. Where in your life, and that's that self reflection, do you need to do a lifestyle change? Because that's so much more than just saying a resolution. You resolve to do this. But when you're looking like this is something I need to make a change in my lifestyle, you 9 times out of 10 have come to a point where you recognize the seriousness of what you would like to accomplish, and you're going to tend to do the work that's necessary behind it. And then tangible goals. You should always give yourself a goal. You start off with those tangible goals is because you don't do it where you know for a fact I'm going to achieve it, but you're not putting it so ridiculous that you can't either. So you're looking for things that are tangible, because when you believe it or not, those wins, whether they're big or small, like Dr. Michelle was saying with the law of attraction, it gets you into the framework of attracting them to the next goal. So if you start off with something that's so far fetched, you just going to create frustration. But when you do tangible goals, and then you set the next tangible goals and the next tangible goal, you typically find yourself at the end of the year having a few wins that you can recollect. And that
Yes,
makes a difference as well. So
absolutely.
the other thing she mentioned was writing it down. Here's my personal testimony again. I journal. What got me a little bit more consistent, I prayer journal. So there's many ways. There's no right or wrong way to journal. You're just getting your thoughts out of your head onto paper. And it is so much more powerful once you said it's on paper. I have been spirit led to journals where I have several, and I'm just like led to pick up one and open it. Let me tell you what it can reveal. We are short memory. Is that good? Short memory people. Like we start looking back into totally glass, was it that glass lens or rose glass
Mm-hmm.
eyes or whatever, and forget stuff. We have like zero memory of stuff that happens to us. But if you have captured how you were at a particular point in time, you can one see I'm the same person still doing this stuff 5 years later. This is a crying shame. And it would sometimes kickstart you in the butt to be like, I need to do what I need to do because it's been too long. You can look at it though also and see, oh my God, look at the growth I've made. Because that's what happens. We do subtle changes that we sometimes don't even know we can celebrate all the growth you made because it was so subtle you never saw it. And so sometimes you're like feeling defeated when really you should be celebrating. So
Absolutely.
I'm telling you, those are some powerful tools.
Mm-hmm. Very, absolutely, absolutely. And you'll also like a lot of times people don't realize, even with vision boards, if you are into vision boards and
Mm,
then you look at an old vision board and realize, wow, I have achieved or just gotten everything on here. And you don't
mhm.
realize it because it's just one of those things that because you didn't put the type of, you didn't allow negative energy to seep in and stop it from happening. You just
Right.
kind of do it and then you go about your day, not focus on it, and it just starts to happen.
Exactly. Exactly. Now, one last thing before we wind down. I know we talk about annual checkups. You have your annual eye exam. You have your annual physical. You have your annual dental cleanings. Why don't we have a annual mental checkup? Or if we do, what does that look like?
It is really just a check-in to say here's where I am. Let's talk about this or let's talk about that. It really is a, if you don't believe you have a lot going on, it really is just a casual process. And look, it's an opportunity for you to talk about you and all of your accomplishments or things you're still trying to accomplish, or it's just one of those things. You check in and say, okay, yeah, I'm okay. And there
Mhm.
are people who they absolutely love therapy. They will stay in therapy forever and ever. And I mean, it's like, I'm like, well, you're fine. What do you need? What do you like? I don't think I can help you with anything, but it's really like, it's more of a coaching process. They need a coach and somebody to
Mm,
say, well, okay, maybe do this way or that way, because people don't always want to bounce things off of friends. Yeah, I know you like, I have my friends for that, but it's just to keep you in check and to be able to say, yeah, I'm fine. What I'm going through is normal, that type of thing.
awesome, awesome. And for those of you who still have the image in your head of laying back on the couch with the person there with the it's not always that way, but it is a safe space for you
It
to begin
is.
to connect to yourself.
Yes,
And
and you
that's
can lay
what
on
it
the couch if
really
you
is.
want, but it's not a necessity.
It's just so funny to me that every movie seemed to kind of show it like that.
Exactly.
Well, I want to thank you so much, Dr. Michelle, for coming on during this time. It's really important for people to really pay attention to their totality of their health, and that would include your mind, body, and spirit. So I am definitely making sure that we focus in on 2022, that concept. So we have total wellness so we were going to say your mind, your body, and your spirit. You need total wellness. Now, question. Always got to do books. So what book is currently on your nightstand that you recently read or will highly recommend reading?
So I'm going to recommend one that my good friend Don Patterson wrote. Now you'll have to read it if you want to know all the details of it. And I actually have it right here, and it's called The V.
Okay.
And it is about a woman coming into her own. So, you can, as you read it, you'll understand what the V is all about. But, but it's not X-rated or anything, but it is, there are different scenarios, but it really is, if I think many people will find this relatable, and it's
Oh,
called the V, Dawn Patterson.
awesome.
Yes.
Awesome. Now,
You'll
so
have to
what I
interview her.
that I was just about to say, now see, you put it out there. That's great because what I have been led to do for 2022 is to dismantle the phrase, if you want to keep something from a Black person, put it in a book. So, our mission in 2022 is to dismantle that phrase. I want as many authors coming on next season to introduce them to our community, what their books are about, why they got into writing, etc. And so that I can even bring people in who are either coaches for writing, who are publishers, who are editors, all of these type of things, proofreaders, so that we can dismantle that phrase, and that so we can get the voice out into books, and we can get back to knowing that reading knowledge and that application of knowledge is very powerful. So yes, plant a seed and let her know that I
Yes.
have to have her on in 2022.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much for coming on. Quick question outside of the show. Are you done for the holidays with your shopping?
Oh my God, no. Look, I have to admit, I haven't even started. Yes, I tend to do that though.
Well, if you go on my page and look at the 12 days of Christmas, there may be someone you can reach out to on that list that might have gifts already available for purchase. I would say, like, coming to mind, maybe Divine Diva Designs, True to You Candles, even my Traveling Pearls for jewelry. So there may be some people on that list that still have items, but I am like you. I am not as bad because what I did try to do is collect some throughout the year. But as far as just going out, no, I have been
Yeah, it's
so
it's it's so
bad.
hard.
It is. And I think, being like less driving places and all this kind of stuff, kind of has gotten me lazy with doing the whole
Yeah.
shopping thing.
Well, I'll have to check out that list, and
Yes, please
maybe
do.
I'll
Please
find
do.
something.
Please do. So I thank you all for listening and joining us today. Make sure you share this information. Making sure that we break the stigma of mental health is so important because, again, like Dr. Michelle said, there's really no separation. It's all health. And if your mind isn't healthy, your body isn't healthy either. Regardless of how physically fit you might be, your mental health is so important. So make sure that you share this. If anyone is suffering from mental health, then I'm Dr. Leno. Do you know any resources off the top that if people have identified with anything that we discussed this tonight, where they can seek help or where they can share information?
Right. If you head over to NAMI.org, you can find a
Mhm.
lot of helpful information and even an 800 number. I would say that's one of my biggest resources. And NAMI is National Alliance on Mental Illness. And so you can find everything there, actually.
Okay. Okay.
And
Awesome.
they will
Awesome.
even lead you to other resources.
Okay.
So it's
Awesome. Awesome.
NAMI,
Yeah.
NAMI.org.
NAMI.org.
Yes.
Awesome. Thank you for that. So, yes, if you know anybody, share this episode and share the resources to get everyone help. We're in this together,
Yes,
guys.
we are.
So, as always, I am Sonia Weaver. I thank you for watching, and I encourage you to spend with purpose because your dollar matters, and deal with Bob. See you next week.